Hey guys, this is the YouTube version of my show. I don't love the idea of even putting it out like this, but I'm going to use YouTube to stay in touch with you guys from now on. That means this version is missing all the stories about coronavirus, insurrection, your Second Amendment rights, and more. All of these, of course, are usually my most honest, brutal, and important stories. Anyway, you can get the entire unfiltered and uncensored show for free by going to thecomicsgym.com or nickdip.com. It's still free on both of these sites, too. And if you want extra content each day, join at patreon.com or thecomicsgym.com for the daily encore show. Also, while you're on these sites, please make a contribution to keep this show free and check out my tour dates. I'll be in Phoenix, Raleigh, New York, and Texas in the up-and-coming months. Remember, you guys keep thinking it, I'll keep saying it, and please enjoy and please share today's episode. Talk to you soon. I am so sick and tired of the liberal agenda that is destroying our country, from our schools to our workplaces to our media. It's literally everywhere. Well, everywhere maybe, but not this show. Never. Here you get the truth, unfiltered and unapologetic. I don't care if I hurt feelings or if I take a position that isn't agreeable or if I step on somebody's toes. I call them the way I see them, and then I put it out there for free. To keep this show free, I need your help. Please go to nickdip.com and make a contribution, or even better, subscribe at thecomicsgym.com or on Patreon today and get an extra encore show each day. Discounts on merchandise and a whole lot more. Thank you guys so much for watching, sharing, and contributing to the best show, in my opinion, on the internet and the most honest. You guys make it happen.
Of admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship is a
admiration for China. I thought it would be Cuba, his dad's country, he'd have the most admiration for. But it's the dirty Chinese. How about that? I think that says it all. You're a scumbag. Oh yeah, how are you folks? Welcome to the big show on a Tuesday. How's it going? Protests all over the world, not just Canada, okay? You know, it's funny, these socialists or the Marxists, whatever you want to call them, workers unite. Oh, they're uniting all right. You never knew it. You guys always said that a lot, but you had no idea what it looked like when it happened. Oh, they're going to unite. They're going to take you the fuck out after they unite. It's not going to be a workers' paradise. It's going to be a nice people's paradise who believe in freedom and liberty. All that corny shit that you piss on. Mr. Trudeau, Mr. Biden, Mr. Everybody. Folks, let's just be honest here. We're heading to a one-world government. I don't give a shit. That's the plan. The question now is, can we stop it, get in the way of it, delay it, whatever the fuck. But that's what's going on. So don't watch the news and see Democrats doing crazy shit and go, now, why would they do that? The American people don't want. They don't want what you want. They want you out of the way. That's all I'm going to say. In the N-word segment tonight, Justin Trudeau enforces the Emergency Act. Is that what it's called? Yeah, in Canada, it's the Emergency Act, like emergency powers. Same thing. This is unbelievable because of the trucker protest. Listen to this. He's threatened to tow the trucks, to go after their personal and corporate money, and go after people like Just Fund Me or any of those that are helping the truckers. Freeze that. They're going to freeze that and hurt them personally, financially, if they keep it up. He's a frickin' dictator. You're only supposed to use these powers if Canada's territory is being threatened or their sovereignty. and he's using it against the people. Do you need any more evidence? And you know when he got the balls to do this? After Biden gave him a call last week and said, use your federal powers. You fucking people. That's all I got to say. Let's move on. Oh.
Well, we're waiting.
Oh, it's a coming. Oh, it's a coming. Top story tonight. Boy, I don't know where we're headed in this country, but Democrat douchebags. That's all I could come up with. I'm sorry, the anger overcame me during the naming of these Democrats who once pushed to protect the then special counsel, Robert Mueller, to ensure that his Russia investigation would continue without interference, sang an entirely different tune when the Trump administration appointed John Durham as special counsel to continue investigating the origins of that same Russia probe.
You fucking hypocrite.
Exactly. Durham has already indicted 3 people as part of his investigation. Igor Danchenko on November 4th, 2021, Kevin Kleinsmith in August of 2020, and Michael Sussman, September 2021. Durham's latest court filing on Friday alleges that lawyers from Hillary Clinton's, we went over this yesterday, 2016 presidential campaign, including Sussman, paid to access servers belonging to Trump Tower and later the White House in order to establish an inference and narrative to bring federal government agencies linking then President Trump to Russia. And if you guys were all fucking wrong, I'm very surly this week with my friends in text, group text. I fucking had it with you. I really do. I'm sick of this country's a shithole because of the way you vote, the way you think. I'm talking about the people in my business. It's fucking sickening.
What exactly leads you to believe the Soviets were involved?
Oh, I don't know. Hillary's fingerprints and her thick fucking ankles are all over it. Durham was appointed special counsel by then Attorney General Billy Barr. I call him Elton John, the straight version. On October 19th, 2020, given Durham's a degree of added independence as he can only be fired by an attorney general. So why hasn't that happened yet? Or someone acting in that capacity. Barr revealed the appointment on December 1st, 2020, about a month after the presidential election.
Counselor.
It's actually a good move now that we look back on it.
Counselor.
Democrats like Rep. Boy Adam
I suck cock.
Schiff
And I love it. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
of California and Jerry Nadler, I can't believe he's still alive, of New York, slammed Barr's appointment at the time, despite previously calling to protect the special counsel's office as Mueller conducted his earlier probe, which concluded without, and I'll say it again, without any finding, any evidence to support claims of collusion between Trump campaign and the Russian government, you pieces of shit. Look at these two psychos. Look at Dracula on the right. He's the most unhealthy. I can't believe he's still alive. Then you got this, he looks like a puppet. He looks like a marionette. Fucking psycho. Look at those eyes. So glad you were bullied as a kid, you big girl. Barr is using the special counsel law for a purpose it was not intended, to continue a politically motivated, this is what they said back then, investigation long after Barr leaves office. Schiff, the big girl, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, said in December 2020. But during Mueller's earlier investigation, Schiff was eager to protect the special counsel's office to ensure that Mr. Mueller could continue the Russia probe without any interference. In 2018, see the same suspects were involved every time. What network was he on? MSNBC with the he-she, Rachel Maddow. He said that Congress had to take up a bill to protect Mueller so that we don't invite a crisis. When's the apology coming? All of yous. Nadler, chairman of the House. All of yous? Who am I? Now you can't leave. Now yous can't leave. Nadler, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, also slammed Durham's appointment at the time as one more desperate attempt to feed President Trump's fixation on events that have been investigated over and over again by you. It's all coming out. You're just lying pieces of garbage. You suck at what you do for a living, which is not much. That statement came nearly a year after Nadler introduced legislation to protect Mueller's early investigation from improper inference. Schiff and Nadler, a couple of homos, along with House Oversight Chair Carolyn Maloney. What a piece of ass these left-wing chicks are. Look at that. Fucking Chris Farley doing a character. Look at that sad sack of shit. Carolyn Malone and House Administration Chair Zoe Lofgren, Democrat, California. Huh? Oh, that's her. I thought it was, had also sent a letter in September 2020 asking the Justice Department, top watchdog, to open an emergency review into Barr's handling of the Durham probe. You all look like, you helped create this. Now you got to go back and revisit it. That's why they're all ignoring it. You can't find this story anywhere in mainstream media because they created the mess. And now they're trying to, they don't want to revisit it. Fox News, again, everybody makes fun of, reported Saturday a filing by Durham on February 11th that said Clinton campaign lawyers worked with a technology company and assembled and conveyed allegations about Trump's ties to Russia to present to the FBI and a second federal government agency. The motion on February 11th focused on potential conflicts of interest related to the representation of former Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussman, who's been charged with making a false statement to a federal agent. Sussman has pleaded not guilty.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Communicate. Birthday cake. I love it. It's all coming out, and I'm extra surly to fucking trying to be patient with people that I'm friends with who just, fucking yappity yap, Trump, Trump this, evil, stupid, ba ba beep ba 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 bo, ba bump ba. Look who you put in office. Again, I'm preaching to the choir. You guys are on my side, but hopefully this will be put in a time capsule, and they'll find it next month. I hate you. You suck at everything. Let's move on to a real dumb hoe. AOC, a dumb hoe. Let's get right to it, Nick. Squad? Why does it say squad? Representative Alexandria. Please give me cock. I forgot it. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez claimed there is a very real risk that America, listen to this, will not be a democracy in 10 years. Well, yeah, because people like you are running it. Somebody shoot a load in that mouth. Democracy in 10 years and will return to Jim Crow. She ought to be taken out and flogged like they do in Tehran, or buried up to her neck and throw rocks at her head. You ignorant slut, as they used to say on SNL. Jane, you ignorant slut. We're going to return to Jim Crow. By the way, Jim Crow was created under your party. I bet you don't even know that. Ocasio-Cortez was asked if she believed the United States would have a democracy in 10 years, prompting her to push another wild claim in an interview that was published on Monday. She says, and I quote, "I think there's a very real risk that we will not," the New York Democrat told the New Yorker in an interview published Monday. "What we risk is having a government that perhaps postures as a democracy and may try to pretend that it is, but it isn't." Yeah, because of who? "I think we will look like ourselves." How much does she hate this country? "I think we will return to Jim Crow." Who's that, you pimp? You pig, you? Ocasio-Cortez continued in her interview with the New Yorker. Why do they put that every fucking... We know! You just told me it's the New Yorker. "I think that's what we risk." The second-term Congresswoman also claimed that Texas election integrity bills proposed in the state legislature are Jim Crow-style disenfranchisement laws. Oh my God, is she ignorant?
You stupid fucking blabbermouth!
In other words, if you have to show your ID, even black people think she's full of shit. Black people want people to have to show their IDs when they vote. Can you imagine? What did you talk about tone deaf? So she's saying that makes us racist and Jim Crow-like. Ignorant. This is what you get with a BU education or any camp. Doesn't matter. She says, "You had members of the state legislature just a few months ago flee the state in order to prevent such voting laws from being passed. In Florida, where you had the entire state vote to allow people who were released from prison to be refranchised after they have served their debt to society, that's essentially being replaced with poll taxes and intimidation at the polls. Last time I checked, the new Black Panthers were standing at the polls with stick axe handles and guns. Is that the intimidation you're talking about? Oh my God. What a fucking lying hoe. You have the complete, and Joe Rogan says, why does Nick get so upset? That's what he, Tommy was, who was telling me, Joe was interviewing one of the comics that I know from Boston, one of the legends or whoever, and they brought me up, and Joe goes, why does it bother him so much? Because I was born with a sense of justice, or raised with a sense of justice. I don't care if it's a little kid stealing a gumball from another kid. I'll get upset.
This should be making everyone upset, though.
Well, yeah, but Joe's high fucking 24 hours a day, which Joe, I'm with you on that. I could use a little, but I have a sense of, everything she just said is like a turd. Ooh, I almost hit this $11 mic. You have the complete, this is her, erasure and attack on our own understanding of history to replace teaching history with institutionalized propaganda from white nationalist perspectives in our school. Last time I checked, it was critical race theory everybody was upset about. She's stuck in 1988. What are you talking about? This is what she's out of arguments. That's what this looks like. She says this is what the scaffolding of Jim Crow was. Ugh.
You're so stupid. You're so stupid. So fucking stupid.
I'd like to teabag her right now, that yappo, but Ocasio-Cortez also compared the laws to the rise of fascism in post-World War I Germany. What, did you read that on the internet yesterday? You don't even know who fought in World War I, you dinkweed. You went to BU. But you really don't have to look much further than our own history, because see how she just pisses on this country that you risked your neck for? Don't look further than our own history, because what we have, I think, is a uniquely complex path that we have walked. And the question that we're really facing is, was the last 50 to 60 years after the Civil Rights Act just a mere flirtation that the United States had with a multiracial democracy that we will then decide was inconvenient for those in power? She said, between gobbling goo, and we will revert to what we had before, which, by the way, wasn't just Jim Crow, but also the extraordinary economic oppression as well. Boy, is her head filled with absolute dog shit. Ugh.
It's not. She's smart.
How about this?
Projection and gaslighting.
Why don't you do what you do best? Get me a rum and Diet Coke. Remember those days? Without fucking that up. It is unclear whether Ocasio-Cortez's claim will coincide with her past claim that the world will end in just over a decade due to climate change. Exactly. What's it all matter then? We're all going to be black, according to you. The sun's going to be a foot away from us. You mamaluka.
Oh, fucking idiot.
You sure is, batch. This is my favorite story of the day, I think. Oh, Mandy, you came and you gave without taking, but I need you today, oh, Mandy. You kiss me and stop me from shaking. Who would have known Barry Manilow was a little fruity? Back in the 70s, we were like, that guy's talented. Oh, Mandy. Efforts to clear New Zealand anti-vaccine protesters by blasting Barry Manilow songs on a loop. What does that make you feel like when you know your shit is being used to punish people? Yeah, I like his old stuff. It used to keep the crows out of my garden. Look at this fucking... He's had more face work than Pelosi and fucking the Kardashians combined. Look. Oh, Mandy. And you came in my... Anyways, by blasting Barry Manilow songs on a loop, have drawn criticism from police officers caught in the crossfire. They'd rather be hit with real bullets than fucking... What? Copacabana? Was that the other one? Hundreds of demonstrators inspired by the Freedom Convoy. By the way, guys, this Freedom Convoy trucking shit is happening all over the world. I just said to Dallas, I'm reading a headline, it's going on in Israel now. Who knew Jews drove trucks? What? What are you saying? inspired freedom convoy of truckers in Canada have been camped on the lawns of Parliament for over a week, ignoring appeals from Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern on Monday, February 14th. I didn't know it was, you know what day yesterday. To go home and take your children. What?
Fuck you and fuck you. Who's next?
Attempts to move the protesters over the weekend included dousing them with sprinkles. Oh, sprinklers. My eyes are going. I thought they fucking hit them with hoses, then threw sprinkles that you put on cupcakes. That's how I read that. I'm losing my shit. And pummeling them with sickly sweet pop tracks. This is considered war. This is what a civil war looks like in New Zealand in 2020. Brother against brother. Pummeling them with sickly sweet pop tracks such as Baby Shark, Macarena, and Manilow's Mandy. Boy, I'd say Mandy would be the most painful one. I'll still sing it if it comes on the radio. I'll be honest with you folks. When you're young and you fall for that shit. Wellington Police Chief Superintendent Carrie Parnell, or Corey, I can't see the lights are blinding me. Corey Parnell was unamused. Is that him? Looks like he's got quite a sense of humor. At the tongue-in-cheek tactics deployed by Parliament officials, they're so humorless, which appeared to have steeled, as an EELED, demonstrators' determination not to move. It certainly, he says, it certainly wouldn't be tactics or methodologies that we would endorse, and he said, I'd go with more something like the Stones or hip-hop. It's something we would have preferred did not occur, Superintendent Parnell told Radio New Zealand. But it did occur, so we have to deal with what we've got in front. Oh, my God.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Boy, this planet really being run some by knuckleheads. How can you not get a chuckle out of that, dude? I would say you crank hip-hop. That's going to drive not exactly a dark population protesting there. He urged protesters who arrived as part of a convoy last week to move vehicles that were still blocking streets. He also defends the hands-off approach adopted by police since last Thursday when officers tried to forcibly clear their lawns, resulting in violent clashes and more than 120 arrests. We got footage, right? Let's take a look at these mamas. You know what it looks like.
Protesters who were camped outside the parliament for the last 3 days. The protests had been inspired by truckers' demonstrations in Canada, and as a consequence, several thousand protesters this week blocked streets near the parliament with trucks, cars, motorcycles. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, while acknowledging that everyone had the right to protest, told protesters to move on, saying that the protests were not a reflection of the country's majority.
I like the Indian woman doing. What am I getting, Calcutta? Eyewitness news? 5 o'clock, Chowdhury King Natyat in Ping Flay Singh. Anyways, this is not a matter of arresting your way out of it, he said, calling on protests organizers to negotiate in good faith. You guys don't know what good faith is.
What you just said
is
one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
Don't you understand it's a protest? There's no negotiating. That's what it is. You guys fucking said we want it this way, and they said this is our answer to that. In good faith. They're not hurting anybody, right? I don't see any violence, any guns yet. You fucking pansy-mansies. Ugh. It's coming here, too. It's coming here. So load up on toilet paper and dill pickles and whatever the fuck else you need. You're not going to be able to get a Klondike bar. See them? The aforementioned gay Prime Minister of Canada. The headline, Justin likes dictators. Dictators. You get those with a double cheeseburger. The gay guy make them. Dictators. Give me some of that heavy special sauce. Canadian Prime Minister Goo Gobbler Justin Trudeau.
He's a fag.
Tony, come on. Has invoked the Emergencies Act for the first time to squash the ongoing Freedom Convoy protests against, I touched on this earlier, forgetting we were going to do this, Wuhan coronavirus restrictions, potentially giving the Canadian leader sweeping emergency powers. Trudeau, now they talk about him, and I don't think they're being tongue-in-cheek. His mother spent a lot of time with Fidel Castro. They're talking about like he's the Castro's kid or something. But wouldn't he be older? I don't know. And he sounds like a big girl. Trudeau announced the use of the Emergencies Act for the first time in its history on Monday. What does that tell you? Well, he praised China in the cold open, so it shouldn't surprise you. On Monday afternoon, stating that the federal government has invoked the act to aid law enforcement to stop border blockades, as well as the Freedom Convoy demonstration in downtown Ottawa. What did you say, Justin? But shouldn't the truckers have the right to do that? Again, something about Heidi Fleiss. He's upset about Heidi Fleiss. He went on to claim the act would be used in a time-limited and geographically narrow way and would not be used to bring in the military or suspend the rights of Canadians in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. He's such a lying cocksucker. The Emergencies Act replaced the prior War Measures Act that were used by Prime Minister, his old man, Pierre Trudeau, who was the president when I used to go up to Montreal to do the comedy festival every year. It was always Pierre Trudeau jokes. Little do we know he had a fucking spawned the devil. Pierre Trudeau, the current prime minister's dad, during the October crisis of 1970, when members of the far-left terrorist Front de Libération de Quebec kidnapped and murdered Quebec Deputy Premier Pierre Laporte. So make a mental note, politicians. Make a mental note, because that's how civil wars start. Me and my buddy were having this discussion, former cop, and he knows his history because he's a lawyer. That's how it starts. It gets to where we are now, and then somebody whacks out one person. And then that side picks somebody, that's right, whacks outside. And next thing you know, I'm just saying, I got a flat screen, 65-inch, I'm waiting for the shit go down. The act, which came into law in 1988, allows Trudeau to invoke various measures that could include banning people from gathering in certain areas. Ugh. Since when? That's not democracy. As well as restricting their travel across the country. I don't know. This story makes me, every time I talk about Canada, I get emotional. Several provincial premiers have come out against the implementation of the Emergencies Act, including Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe. Speaking of Moe's, Trudeau said, who publicly stated that he was opposed to the measure. Saskatchewan does not support Trudeau government invoking the Emergencies Act. If the federal government does proceed with this measure, I would hope it would only be invoked in provinces that request it, as the legislation allows, Moe said on Twitter. Alberta Premier, this is a really heavy news show. Sorry, folks, I don't know what the fuck happened. I'm going to have to stop picking them again. Alberta Premier Jason Kenney has also stated his opposition, saying, we have the legal powers that we need. We have the operational resources that we need to enforce. And I think at this point for the federal government to reach in over the top of, in other words, provinces are like states, folks, and the feds are reaching in over them and sticking their nose where they shouldn't be. In over top of us without offering anything in particular would frankly be unhelpful. Alberta is one of the provinces dealing with a Freedom Convoy blockade at the town of Coutts along the United States border, which has been ongoing for the last 2 weeks. 25%, I think it is, of our trade is with Canada. And that bridge is like the main... While the protesters did lift the blockade temporarily, it resumed last week. I love it. I love it. Let me tell you something. I'm French-Canadian a little bit on my mother's side. There's nobody more hard-headed than a French-Canadian. They're the nicest people, but if you get in an argument and they think they're... My father used to say it about my mother, that French-Canadian... They are... Zook, you met my buddy the cop. He worked with some French-Canadian carpenters. He goes, oh my God, you can't... They won't budge. You know what I mean? It could be an ugly stereotype, but I'll spread it anyways. Fuck it. It resumed last week despite Alberta lifting several restrictions, including its vaccine passport system. So those truckers are dug in, baby.
I'm staying right here.
You notice that whole article didn't mention what I mentioned in the cold open? Not in the cold open, in the N-word. It didn't mention that he was going to go after their personal finances, corporate finances, and try to hurt them financially down the road. Didn't mention that in that whole article right there. God help us. Let's move on. Adams to drill down on rap videos. I can't believe you guys voted this schmuck in. He's just friggin'... He's just Bill de Blasio, only not as eloquent. Yes, he's a law and order guy, but he's just another dumb lib. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has announced he will be meeting with rappers. Oh, thank Christ. I hope old dirty bastard helps solve this. He's meeting with rappers. What did you go to a halftime show and stop blowing people? And musical artists in the city to try and convince them, listen to this, not to glorify gun violence. Oh, God, you're cute, Mayor. That's like going to the NFL and say, don't glorify the game of football. You silly bastard. What do you think? Don't glorify gun violence? You take that away from the hip-hop community, you get nothing. Oh, my God. Adams, elected last year to replace jerk-off Bill de Blasio, said he hopes to combat the rise of drill rap, which is my favorite type of rap. You're like, what's drill rap? It's the rap music they play at the dentist when you're having a... What? That was gay. Yeah, I know. A genre focused on feuds and... No, it's the type of hip-hop you play when you're banging your wife. Twice a year. Anyways, Gilligan? On feuds and threats of violence between artists. Adams wants to see the genre banned from social... What are you, a racist? Social media platforms for the sake of young users. We got a video here of Mr. The new mayor of New York talking, and I'm just sorry. Seems like a nice guy. I respect him because he was the head cop and blah, blah, blah. But he's not mayor material. Mayor McCheese. Go ahead, let him talk.
We are going to pull together the social media companies.
What does that mean?
And sit down with them.
Stand up.
And state that you have a civic and corporate responsibility. You know, I mean, we pulled Trump off Twitter because of what he was spewing. Yet we are allowing music, displaying of guns, violence. We're allowing it to stay on these sites.
I don't know if he was trying to like defend Trump there. You know he wasn't. We pulled him up. He was fine with, I don't remember him complaining when they yanked Trump off Twitter, but he makes a point. Adams said he was made aware of the problem by guess who? His son. His son works for rapper Jay-Z. And they asked when he talked to his son about it, his son said,
"Not my dad! You also hear something ugly ass fucking doodle. You're not my dad! You're not my dad! Ugly ass.
Adams intends to take the issue directly to social media companies he blamed for allowing violent content on good luck with that, on their sites. The mayor said he would like to see the entire genre removed from such websites and replace. This is where we're at. Get rid of that drill. They call it drill rap. Put back just the regular gangster shit. Because the drill rap has to do with beefs between rappers. That's your drill rap, and they glorify killing each other and shit. Just get back to the regular, mainstream hip-hop gangster shit where they're hanging Trump and shit. Stuff like that Snoop likes. Isn't that funny? You got Snoop, half his songs are about killing cops, and he's the halftime show, and everybody's all right with it. You know what I mean? I'm tired of pointing out the hypocrisy. Everybody is. You don't even want to point it out anymore. It's just... Ugh. We are bringing them in. We are going to show exactly what is being displayed, and we are alarmed by it. We are alarmed by the use of social media to really over-proliferate this violence in our communities. Of course, he has to add it. Yes, it's a conspiracy against you.
Is it because we're black?
No. A lot of white kids be buying that shit. Know what I'm saying? I was looking at Snoop's lyrics. Was it Snoop or one of them? Stop using the guns to kill each other and start shooting some... No, it was some rapper. It wasn't Snoop. It was another rapper. Start shooting some motherfucking bitch-ass cops if you want to impress me. Wow. Colin Quinn has the best. One of my favorite Colin Quinn bits is about how rappers always diss each other in songs and how they call each other out. He goes, you didn't see that back in the 50s. You didn't see Tony Bennett going, hey, this goes out to that bitch-ass Mel Torme. Fucking genius. This goes out to that bitch-ass Mel Torme. He did that at the Comedy Cellar like 3 nights in a row, and there were black people there every night falling out of their fucking seats laughing. Bitch-ass Mel Torme. Let's stay on Mr. Adams, shall we? We've gone from John Adams to Eric Adams. Again, Mr. Adams, I don't mean disrespect you. You were a cop, put your neck out there and shit. But you also started the 100 black law enforcement thing, whatever, which is just divisive in itself, and which tells me you don't get it and you're obsessed with your own skin color. But I do believe that you believe you want to stop the shit in black neighborhoods. I mean, anyways, Mayor Eric Adams fired more than, get this. So he's trying to do good in that last story a little bit. Mayor, he fired more than 1,400 government workers who refused to get the city revealed on Monday, including 36 NYPD personnel, 25 fire department workers, and 914 Department of Education staffers. Basically essential workers, I think, right? So he's kind of a, sounds like a Hitler type too.
You're fired. 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 You're fired.
I am not. I don't want to. The number had dropped considerably by last Friday's deadline as more employees submitted proof of getting at least one. Not enough now. City Hall officials said at one point last week, officials estimated that 4,000 were on the chopping block. The number then dropped to around 3,400 and then to 1,430 firings, officials said. What the fuck? In one category, there were 2,400 veteran employees on leave without pay who had not opted to extend their health insurance and had not provided proof of. In the end, 1,428 of those city workers failed to get were fired. Nearly 1,000 or 40% provided evidence of getting at least one 7th hour and returned to work. You should never be put in that position. Never. All these years of my body, my choice with a feminist. Meanwhile, 1,000 new employees hired beginning in August of last year had initially failed to file paperwork of getting so confused. But in the end, only 2 failed to get and were fired, officials said. Good, you strong-armed them. Congratulations.
It's just so ridiculous.
Adams thanked the overwhelming majority of workers for getting. I quote, he says, city workers served on the front line. And this is how you treat them for it? And by getting once again, showing how they are willing, like they have a choice, to do the right thing to protect themselves and all New Yorkers. Anytime you hear it's for your protection, we've said this 1,000 times, whether it's airport security, whether it's tanks rolling down you, it's for your protection. It's not. It's all about fucking you coming under their thumb. Oh, God. It's about protecting you, all New Yorkers.
Will you shut up?
Oh, please.
Will you please shut up? Will you shut up? Shut up! Shut up!
I'd put a little laugh in there. Our goal was also not terminate, and city workers stepped up and met the goal placed before them. Listen, like they didn't have a choice. Either that or go hungry. They get families. Out of all the new city employees who received notices 2 weeks ago, only 2 who worked last week are no longer employed by this. Oh, congratulations. Fuck them, right? I'm grateful to all the city workers who are stupid and came under my thumb, who continue to serve New Yorkers and get stuff done. Oh, my God. Mr. Mayor, you're living in, and it's not your fault, your predecessor left the shithole. That city right now is no better than Detroit was in the 70s. It is a dangerous sewer filled with politicians, district attorney who believes in releasing hardened criminals back on the streets, not requiring bail, and people are getting murdered. A lot of Asian people are getting murdered, but that's hush-hush, because they're not a big enough voting bloc for anybody on the Democrat side to give a fuck. Anyways, you're the mayor of a shithole. You're not getting done anything. This story's longer than my fucking left nut. But some union leaders said a single working worker getting fired over is one too many, which is absolutely right.
You are correct, sir.
The embattled New York City Housing Authority lost 101 workers who refused to get 40 sanitation department workers were that housing, people that keep that's good. The riffraff, you wonder why it's pouring out on the street. Sanitation department workers were terminated, according to the agency. But this is just the first round of firings. It could be many, many more. Another 13,044 city workers filed for medical or religious accommodations or exemptions from the requirement. More than half of those cases, 7,030 requests for a waiver, have been decided on. About 70% or 4,919 requests for exemptions were denied. In 2,118 were approved. But workers can file an appeal. About 5,000 cops and 500 firefighters were among those who have sought exemptions from the or medical reasons. It stinks to high heavens, man. Anyways, that's enough for today. I want to punch a lib in the face. That is it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget thecomicsgym.com. Tell your friends, go to patreon.com, thecomicsgym.com. Sign up on a monthly basis so we can beat back this steady drumbeat of tyranny coming after us. Don't forget nickdip.com. Click on my tour button to see if I'll be in a town near you. I'm going to bring an 18-wheel truck and block the motherfucker. And don't forget cameo.com. If you'd like me to, zing and roast a friend and relative of yours, all in good nature, obviously, good-natured fun, go to cameo.com and they'll tell you how to do it. You guys think that I will say it, you're very welcome. We'll see you back here, right here, tomorrow, for the same old show. Have a good day, everybody.